I am worried about our case study. I've done a bit of reading, but I am not sure what's involved in actually writing a case study. I missed the lecture where Dr. Precker talked us through it. Okay, well, it's quite straightforward. We've got our focus. That's tourism at the heart and countryside. And you said you'd done some reading about it. Yes, I found some articles and made notes of the main points. Did you remember to keep a record of where you got the information from? Sure, I know what a pain it is when you forget that. Okay, so we can compare what we've read. Then we have to decide on a particular problem on it at our side, and then think about who we're going to interview to get more information. Okay, so who what would that be? The people who work there, and presumably some of the tourists too. Yes, both those groups. So we'll have to go to the site to do that, I suppose. But we might also do some of our interviewing away from the site. We could even contact some people here in the city, like administrators involved in overseeing tourism. Okay, so we would need to think about our interview questions and space times and place for the meetings. It's all going to take a lot of time. Mm. And if we can, we should ask our interviewees if they can bring out along some numerical data that we can add to support our findings and photographs. I think we have plenty of those already. But Dr. Pegel also said we have to establish with our interviewees whether we can identify them in our case study or whether they want to the anonymous. Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. Okay, once we've got all this information, I suppose we have to analyze it. Yes, but put it all together and choose what's relevant to the problem we are focusing on and analyze that carefully to find out if we can identify any trends or regularities there. That's the main thing at this stage, rather than concentrating on details or loss of facts. Okay, and then once we've analyzed that, what next? Well, then we need to think about what we do with the data we've selected to make it as clear as possible to our readers. Things like graphs and or tables or charts, right? Then the case study itself is mostly quite standard. We beginning by presenting the problem and giving some background, then go through the main sections. But the thing that surprised me is that in normal report we'd end with some suggestions to deal with the problem or we identified, but in the case study we end up with a question or a series of questions to our readers, and they decide what ought to be done. Oh, I hadn't realized that. So basically, the problem we are addressing in our case study of the hotel castle site is why so few tourists are visiting it. And we will find out more from our interviews. But I did find one report on the entrance that suggested that one reason might be because is as far as the transport goes, access is difficult. I read that too, but the report was actually written 10 years ago when the road there was really bad. But that's been improved now, and I think there's plenty of fascinating stuff there for a good day out. But you'd never release it from their customer side. Maybe that's the problem. Yes, it's really dry and boring, and read somewhere a suggestion that what the castle needs is a visitor center. So we could have a look for some information about that on the internet. What would we need to know? Well, would easy for a start. It'd be good to know what categories the visitor fall into too. Live student parties are retired people, but I think we'd have to talk to staff to get that information. Okay, and as we were thinking of getting a visitor center, we'd also have to look at potential problems. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't be cheap to set up. No, but it could be a really good investment. And as is on a historical site, it need to get special planting permission. I expect that might be hard. Right, especially as the only possible place for it would be at the entrance, and that's right in front of the case too. But it could be a good thing for the town of Horton. A present is a bit of a ghost town. Once they've left school and got any skills or qualifications, the young people all get out as fast as they can to get jobs in the city. And the only people left are children and those who retired. Right? Something else we could investigate would be the potential damage that tourism might cause at the coastal side. I mean the environmental impact. The at present, the tourists can't just wander around wherever they want, but if number increases, they might have to be some restrictions, like sticking to marked ways, and there need to be guides and wardens around to make sure these were enforced. Yes, we could look at that too. Okay, well.